Hi, this is Dana, and I really hope that you're enjoying this month's series on real leadership and leadership lessons that all of us at Team Connections have learned. We're really excited to be able to share with you, and I will tell you quite honestly, it's been really a moment where we have to step back and think about some of these questions really long and hard. And today's topic, my hardest lesson, man, I was thinking I've got so many lessons, so what was the hardest one for me to learn? And I think it took place early on. You know, when you lead a team, you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the people that you work with. And when I was brand new as a leader, one of the hardest lessons for me to learn is that not everyone had the same drive or motivation that I did. And it was interesting, there was a time when I had just a very small team. I only had about 10 people on my team, and one of them wanted to go to our spring conference, and she said she didn't have the money. And so I just knew, that if I could get her to conference, it would just be great. And so I, without really having enough money to do so, because I was our full-time income, I paid her way to go to our spring conference. And I lent it to her. Of course, she never paid me back. And she went, and she really never took off and never really had that spark that I saw in her. And so was the leadership lesson that I learned that I wasn't supposed to give people money for doing things? No, that's not at all what I learned. What I did learn, which is a very important lesson, and it was a hard one for me to learn, is that not everybody was as motivated as me. Not everyone was as driven as me. And so I began to become a student of what motivates people. And I learned that motivation really is internal. It's not external. I mean, you can inspire people, you can incent people, but if you don't speak to that internal motivation, it's going to be short-lived and not long-lasting. And so probably the hardest lesson I learned is that I needed to do a better job of finding out what people really wanted out of their business, and more importantly, why they wanted it, how it would make them feel, what would be that reason for them to get up in the morning every morning. I teach this lesson a lot. I speak to it. I coach about it, and we share it a lot in Team Connections Pro. Learning the what and the why. And there are lots of important questions that I've learned along the way. At first when I started doing it was just simple, like, so what do you want out of your business? And I get all sorts of answers. I'd get answers like, well, I want to pay off debt. Well, I want to make money. Well, I just want extra money. Well, I want... And, those are pretty generic, broad answers when you ask a generic, broad question. So you begin to ask deeper questions, almost like an archaeological dig. What do you want? What would you do with an extra $1,000 a month? What would extra $2,000 a month look like to you? How much are you willing to invest in your business? And then once that person sees what they want, you can begin to speak to how it makes them feel. The worst thing that you can do is send an email and say, so I need to find out what's your why. Why are you in this business? That is so generic, so impersonal, and it was a lesson that I learned the hard way. It's much more important to create the relationship by having a conversation with someone, because most people can't articulate their why. Most people can kind of tell you what they want, but they don't know why they want it. They don't know the piece that's going to be internally, emotionally attached to them. And so that's the hardest lesson that I learned, was that not everybody was as driven as me, and if I didn't find out what their why was and what they wanted out of the business, they weren't going to succeed. Hope that helps you. It's a real leadership lesson.